Yeah.
like every bit of the supporting cast is all like legitimate support.
Yeah,
I think they're all super wholesome.
yeah. He
Yeah.
How
definitely.
the fuck you can write a 20 character cast be all wholesome is beyond me. But they do it, man.
Yeah, man.
They're one big family.
They just have a punch card that no one knows about, where they punch it every time they have a near-death experience, and once they hit 10, they just graduate automatically.
Deku is about to deck you, my man.
I mean, like, this is basically a nuclear bomb of time erasure sitting on the ground, and you gotta wrap that up real quick, or else you're gonna have problems.
He's just he's like a 28-year-old boomer where he's just like, oh, these kids, man, get them off my council, man.
Okay, so
Trevor, don't you know, if you leave the massive piece of stone that destroyed half your vital organs in, you can live for as long as you want.
Right.
Yeah,
it's hard to
like,
breathe, but like
don't.
if you leave the thing that's occupying half of your chest cavity in your body, then you're just fine. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 50. Yes, it's the big 5-0. We are halfway to 100 here at the Unboxing Life podcast. I am Cameron. I am one of your four hosts for today. Going around the room, we got Araketsu, I think, which I definitely
what's going
mispronounced
on?
That. But Amo, Alex, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. I'll tell you what I did. I just put Alex in translate Japanese, and that's what it came out. So
okay.
Right.
I thought I was missing a character name from season 4. I was like, bro, did I really like just marathon this shit too hard?
Nope, it's my Japanese name.
Okay.
There you go.
I hope that that translates as we think it does, and it's not something else. But yeah, in the other corner we got Eri-chan, aka Treasure, aka Trevor. What's going on, dude?
I just realized that I'm wearing a fucking Japanese. I think this is kanji, but
yeah,
Rocio could correct me on that. But we're discussing My Hero again. Oh my god, yes,
The final, yeah.
the final, and that is
somewhat final.
my man with the I think, in my opinion, the funniest Zoom name. Talking about Chisaki's compliance with mask mandates. What is going on? What is going on, Dave Vision, David?
What's going on, everybody? You know, I had to acknowledge it. We're here.
Did season 4 come out? Like, did it finish before the pandemic started?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it ended in
I think
2019.
so, yeah.
Okay. I think it's been 2 years since we've had My Hero. So coming
It's a bit
out
of a
very soon. I think it'll be the weekend after this episode releases. Or maybe the weekend that this episode releases. I don't know. It's
next Saturday, I believe.
It's within a week of our coverage of season 4 here. We're getting season 5, so that's pretty great. I like that we're doing it in a timed fashion, and then as soon as season 5 finishes, like Trevor said, I think on another episode that you've already heard, in like 6 months, we'll get around to covering that.
There's no earthquakes that impede that progress.
Yeah, let's open up.
We'll find out about that. Double Attack on Titan this Sunday. So there you go. All right.
Sheesh.
So with all that being said, let's hop into traditions, and then we can go straight into the review of season 4. Right.
Ooh, of what?
Of My Hero Academia. Look at the title, Trevor. Can't you read?
Book of My Hero Academia. We lit.
Yep.
We absolutely lit.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I will take the first spot.
Ooh, selfish bastard. It's fine.
That's me. So we got another general Japan fact for the anime series. So with slightly over 5 million units nationwide, Japan has the highest density of vending machines of any country in the world. There is roughly 1 vending machine per 23 people. Annual combined sales reportedly total over $60 billion.
Sheesh.
For sure.
That's funny that you even like have that fact, because I woke up and I went on YouTube as I normally do, and like one of the shorts was like, yo, I bought a vending machine for $600, and he just opens it up and he's just showing his profit or whatever, and he makes like $130 in a day.
I've seen
like
those.
Profit.
Yeah,
that's pretty great that was.
I've seen those. Those are interesting. Yeah, and they talk about, actually, from where I got that, I started looking up more vending machine stuff. If you watch, the more anime you watch, and especially like slice of life stuff, there's plenty of scenes of them getting shit out of vending machines. And the Japanese vending machines are pretty cool because they dispense like hot and cold drinks from the same machine sometime, and they have like massive variety of like coffee and tea and all that stuff. So it's an interesting cultural thing. Yeah,
you see a lot of them in Persona 5.
And Toradora, I feel like there's some scenes by the vending machines. Yep.
Yeah, they got them. They got them everywhere. There was some fact about that. They're at like Kyoto has however many per like subway station, and it's like so dense. So yeah, it's crazy. You can't have an anime without vending machines apparently, just because that's what
it's
Japan
their water cooler.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Water cooler. Cool. Who's going next, baby boy?
I think I would like to hear the track of the episode next.
Ooh, okay.
Episode.
Yes, sir.
Yuck.
I figured I would do another part of the OST. My favorite. Well, yeah, probably my favorite little track out of the My Hero OST, which I feel like doesn't feature. Well, actually, it does. It features prominently at the end of the season. It's just called the My Hero Academia main theme, which if you don't recognize it by that title, you'll definitely recognize it when you listen to it. It's a
yeah. You guys can't do it at the same time. It just comes through awful.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we're killing the game.
Yeah,
we're killing the game.
It's great. I love it. It always gets me hyped up. I mean,
facts.
I think
I love that song.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I know a lot of people cite "You Say Run" as their number one hype for this show, but that's close. But
I need to hear that one again.
Yeah, you'll recognize that one too.
Is You Say Run the one that starts with the drum roll? Because that's one of my favorites. Absolutely. Like every time an action sequence happens and it goes like and it's
and it has like the guitar, like the electric guitar.
Probably it's probably that one then. Yeah. The music in the show is definitely pretty fantastic in and out every episode. So I like your choice to make those your track of the episode for sure. They're worth listening to by themselves.
Yeah, maybe I'll put together an anime playlist someday.
Ooh,
bet.
Stuff.
I'll follow that.
Ooh.
Rocio did that for her ramen shop that she works at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She had a couple of Persona tracks on there, and I went in for ramen one day, and one of them played, and I was just like, holy shit, I'm in heaven.
That's perfect. Wow. Great.
All right. Well, that's it for that, I guess, right? And
I want to go last.
Trevor wants to go last,
Okay.
so we got a joke from my man Alex.
Okay, hear me out. What did Shigaraki say to the pro heroes he was about to fight?
Oh God! Man.
You can't see me. My time is now.
Give me a hand.
Dun, 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 dun.
Give me a hand.
He said,
I don't know.
He says to these heroes, he says, "You're gonna catch these hands."
Okay. There you go. Close. That was kind of close.
Very nice.
Honestly, that wasn't cringe.
That was
I
good.
don't like it.
That was fun.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
You don't like it because it's not cringe.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Come back next week.
Oh my
Come
god.
back next week. I die in the inside every time I read one of these jokes. So,
All right,
as
Trevor,
you should.
what do you got
As
to
you
lead us into
should.
the episode with?
Ooh, so Cameron had his own little quote that he's going to steal my thunder with.
Okay.
But this entire sequence gave me super big goosebumps. And spoiler alert, we're going to go right into season 4. So please get the fuck away from this episode.
As always.
Yep.
But
If you haven't seen it.
the sequence where he's fighting Chisaki and Ares like on this mountain that he like projects into the air, and she like realizes that they're not going to stop until they rescue her, so she like throws herself off the ledge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit after that where he's like, if I can't save the one small girl in front of me, how can I become a hero that saves everyone? And I was just like, bruh, like that's great motivation for himself. So that entire fight was fucking fire, my guy, and we will get to it.
Yeah, I love the utter grit in his voice when he says that as well.
Yeah.
The voice acting does not let up. Same as the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pop off on that fight.
All right, let's get into it then. Let's
get into it,
start from the beginning, I guess.
We have the openings. The openings are.
they're
there.
I like it.
They're forgettable as fuck.
Damn, really?
Again,
you're just mad at anime OPs in general, man. I don't know why.
I'm not mad at them. I like them. I've definitely I've said Love is War is great.
No, I know,
Demon Slayer has a great one too. This one had it was there. It was fine. The splash pages are always fucking awesome at the very end, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say these two might be, this season might have consistently my favorite openings and endings, but they're not, neither one is like blowing my mind at the same time. It's just,
right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The overall quality of the two of them together, I think, for a season is about as strong as My Hero is. I like the first one a lot, especially with at the end they have the visual metaphor of Midoriya and Eri both free falling and like barely able to. They're like almost can reach out and like get each other, but they can't quite yet. And so that's they set that up very early. So I like that.
How do you guys feel about showing like not plot elements, but like showing that kind of interaction before you even know who she is?
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
I don't either.
want to see it.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought I was like alone in that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's
because now I know that they're going to have a great relationship. Like,
that's the thing
know.
is like I was gonna get to that when we come out. It's like the 4th episode of the season or something when they're on patrol and like she stumbles out of the alleyway and it's like, oh, this is the girl. Like you just know immediately like shit's about to happen because you already know who this person is. You already know she's massively significant because you've seen her as the center of the intro for the last 4 episodes or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to it, I guess. Pros being that you get to show everyone, and cons is exactly what you're saying.
I'm not. There are shows that do it even worse. That like kind of spoil stuff, or like it's almost like, I think, there's certain shows I would almost recommend. Like I would have to like remember them specifically, but like when I'm going to watch it with someone, like let's wait till episode 4 or something till we watch the intro because they would spoil something that's about to happen. But it's kind of tough. But usually.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I've definitely seen shows that actually like update their intro when they show new characters and stuff like that. Like sometimes characters will be like
that would be
blacked
really
out.
fucking cool.
Like characters will be like blacked out, like you can just see their silhouette and not their actual personage, so you can't tell who they are until they actually show up in the show. One I watched recently did that, but I can't remember off the top of my head. A really like kind of egregious one is Dr. Stone, where like the whole point of the show is to like evolve and like build new technologies, and they show one of the massive technologies that's like super important to the plot of the show in the intro, and you don't get there until like episode 7 of the season. So it's like there's ones that are terrible like that where you're just like, okay, I know this point in the road, but then the journey is good enough that you can kind of forgive them. But it's it's both ways. I feel both ways about it.
It's cool in hindsight.
I'm not sure how effective a silhouette would be because over the years, I'll tell you, I've gotten pretty good at who's that Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, that is so true.
I feel you. Yeah, sometimes it's like, sometimes it's
Didn't they used to show the silhouette and then show like the answer the next episode? Is that how they did that?
It would be after the commercial break.
After commercials or whatever.
Commercial break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu!
It's fucking Jigglypuff!
It's Jigglypuff! Fuck! It's a great vine.
Yeah.
The first outro I like a lot. I don't know if you've watched that one. I like the singing on that one a lot.
I do like the singing of, I don't know which outro it is, but it's like the do 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 do, and then it goes into like the almost frenzy of music. But
that's probably the first one I want to say.
Maybe so.
Yeah, they're good. They're solid for sure. But
yeah.
That's about
we want to unbox.
The first outro though shows like a lot of the context of Eri, where it shows her like having rewound her mom to non-existence. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's like
I don't even think I watched the outro.
Yeah, it's like a pretty. I mean, the first outro is cute as fuck because it shows her like as a little baby. But then it also shows the trauma of her being like age 2 and like erasing her mom, in like still frames, and so that's like a piece of context that speaks to her character a lot, I think. And then the second intro is just good, clean fun. I like it. It's like it's just boppy. It's a school festival kind of a thing. And then I like the second outro a lot for showing all the like Polaroids of the pro heroes when they were kids. Like you get to see young All Might and young Hawks and young like all present Mike and Endeavor and Todoroki and everything. So yeah, it's cool. I love the little elements, the little sprinkles that they do. But yeah, moving on to the plot. What are we getting into?
The actual season.
Yeah, so the first episode is a little standalone, little treat.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I actually quite enjoy it, even though it's not what I was expecting when I started the season.
So what's the first season or episode again?
It's there's that reporter guy where it's like the media is trying to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he turns out to actually just care very much about the like who it's passed down to in Midoriya and All Might and stuff.
That quirk was ridiculous. Where he just starts popping out fucking cannons and shit out of his hands and in his body. Like,
Yeah,
he's just a walking advertisement for digital cameras.
Yeah, I wonder what profession he's gonna go into. Like,
yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Oh yeah, I like that episode. It definitely started on a slower note than what I'm used to for the show, but
yeah, it's a good palate cleanser. It's a clever way of because it's been technically a year since between end of season 3 and beginning of season 4. It's a good refresh episode where you get all the information that you want to be reminded of like the students' names, their quirks, because you list them one by one by seat. And it's like, this is class 1A, this is who we're following, this is their quirks. So it's a good refresher, and they do it in like a not completely boring way, and you actually get a little bit of the slice of life of him, walking around taking pictures. Bakugo gets fucking pissed at him. It's great.
Yeah, I don't need the summary of the quirks every season. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a little crazy to do 3 minutes of seeing acid come out again. Like, I know that's what she does. If you watch the show, even in any capacity, it's pretty easy to memorize the quirks and who does what.
Which I don't know about you guys. I can't remember if this was still happening, but for like the last 2 seasons, the platform I was watching it on will have a thing pop up every episode when the character comes on screen that says their quirk.
It says their quirk. Yeah, it
so
did it for Froppy, like a couple episodes that I just watched, where she's just in a crowd and they just show her, quirk frog, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's.
I know what she does. She has a fucking talk about it. I know what she does.
I hate that, dude. That's terrible.
It's more obvious in the subtitling, because the subtitling is like front and center.
It's all over the place.
In the Japanese, like if you were watching it with no subtitles, it's just like a little icon that goes in the corner that just says her name and her quirk, and it's like not distracting at all. And it's like do it just because you can, kind of.
And then it pops up and it's like subtitles I need to pay attention to, but then it's just
quirk frog.
Midoriya, quirk freaking one for all.
One for all, yeah. Like, oh wow, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a fair gripe. It does get a little overwhelming and unnecessary. Yeah.
But
it's just unnecessary.
I see that.
It's not a detriment to the show, but it
doesn't kill it. Yeah, it's like
it's an annoyance.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But there you go. You have that episode, and then we actually get into the plot, I guess.
The plot.
Yes.
I guess the first arc is him meeting Sir Nightai, right?
Right. Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about Homeboy?
I think he has his motivation makes sense. I think from his perspective, it makes a lot of fucking sense that Mirio would be the inheritor, and that he, feels the way he does about Deku for good reason. Because he seems like a gamble as opposed to the sure thing that is the ray of sunshine that is Miria Togeda. So
I kind of drew a parallel to Friends, when spoilers if you haven't watched Friends, but there's
Friends spoilers now, bro.
There's a point in the show. Well, I would like people to experience this.
Okay,
but there's a point in the show where they go to London, and this is when Chandler and Monica hook up. But the only reason that they hook up is because Joey wasn't there. So like that becomes a whole fight, but like Monica was super drunk and I think she was like depressed about something, and she goes to the room like trying to find Joey so they can like have just a one night stand or whatever, and Chandler's the only one in there, so she ends up going with Chandler, and that's how they start their relationship. But that happens with All Might and Deku, because like All Might was going to Mirio to give him his quirk, and then he runs across Deku, so he's just like, yo man, you know what? You can have my quirk. How about that? I don't know you at all, but you look like you got some talent bubbling in you.
Yeah, it's an interesting twist on it. I mean, obviously, it's like you've been watching the show. You want Deku to have it. He's worthy of it, obviously. But then it's like, logically, Mirio makes way more sense. He's like, he has like a powerful quirk already, but he's also
he would be
like
completely overpowered.
Yeah, he's like trained harder than like any other high school student in the country, probably, just like perfecting his combat and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, when they introduce him at the end of season 3, they literally call him number 2 even among the pros. So it's like when they introduce him, they're saying it's like in terms of capability, it's All Might, then him, then Endeavor. Is like that's how they set him up. So that's like crazy as hell. It's It's interesting, for sure. The
homie's got compresses little marbles as eyes.
Dude, I could not get over his eyes the entire season.
Mirio, yeah.
They're so lifeless. I'm just
they're
like,
drawn so different from everything else. Yeah.
it's like Biden's eyes.
Oh my god.
What?
Good lord.
That's funny.
No, he's got the most different eyes out of any cast or any character in the cast. Like,
Yeah,
period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I like it, but I could see not liking it too.
Did you? Okay, so this is another thing. Like when I was going on Crunchyroll, every time I loaded it up, they would show a little thumbnail in the top right, and it would be like My Hero Academia or whatever, and it would show Deku like on the side. You see his profile, and then you see Mirio like right next to him, and they're running across. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking like. I had no idea who he was for the first 3 seasons because I was watching it, and you see that thumbnail, and obviously it like updates every season or whatever. But they had that for like all the seasons that I was watching, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because I thought it was Bakugo for the longest time, but it's like he doesn't look like Bakugo. He doesn't have the spiky hair like Bakugo. You know, he doesn't have the same eyes.
Yeah.
So like to finally meet him, I'm just like, fuck, like what
Finally.
where?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, dude,
sure.
You gotta save. You gotta keep some good characters in the back pocket. Can't be throwing all of them out there.
Yeah.
His power.
They introduced quite a lot of characters this season.
He just phases through cheesing on you. He comes through the wall like
cheese.
Nah.
He's such a goofball.
Yeah, he's great. He's exactly.
And then
he's a very innocent, naive goofball.
Yeah. They were talking about his origin, like when he was trying to perfect his power and he couldn't go through things like without clothes or
Right.
Yeah, so he finally gets the costume made out of his own hair so that he can actually like wear the clothes and make them go permeable with him.
It's just super weird.
But when he fights all of Class 1A in season 3, he just gets naked instantly.
Yeah, that was really odd to see. So that's season 3, so
yeah,
that is odd to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like how he has 1 million on his because his hero name is Lemillion. Because he wants to save 1 million people, and it's got the 1 million on his chest. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, can't save them all, right? Let's try to save 1 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, so Night Eye also such a All Might stan that even though Midoriya doesn't actually beat him because Midoriya...
Dude, he starts taking measurements and shit on him too. He's like, yo, this is not what he would wear. Like,
yeah.
When he does the fucking Deku does the All Might face.
I was going to say, how'd you feel about the All Might impression?
So good.
That was hilarious.
Dude, he's just standing there all stoic and shit, and he's just like, yo, your eyebrow is like 0.7 millimeters off, like...
But then Deku comes back with like, I was trying to do this exact face from this exact moment.
When he saves someone, yeah.
And Sir is like, you're right. It's like, damn, like 2 super fans meet at the fucking head. Yeah, and so he jumps around the room, but he doesn't step on any of the All Might merch because it's a limited edition poster. And he's like, all right, you know what? I said even though you didn't take it from me, I'll still stamp the paper.
I'll sign it. Yeah,
I'll stamp the paper.
Yeah.
So he gets to go to work study with Night Eye. So that's dope.
It's cool. Work study is. I mean, it's another another thing of the whatchamacallit. Yeah, it's reminiscent, but it's a cool excuse to have like this a certain group of students be involved with like the case that happens and stuff, like have them learn stuff from these pros.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, get out in the field.
I think one of the bigger drawbacks of this season particularly is that there's not a whole lot of Bakugo or Todoroki at all. They just kind of leave them behind for it's 16 episodes. It feels like I'm just I get it. I totally get it. The reasoning behind it, but I felt a little empty. The 2/3 of the show, I kind of felt empty with the show.
And Bakugo starts off hot too when they're explaining the work study in class, and he's like, "Ha, you assholes don't get to go either." It's jokes on you. And then Aizawa's like, "However, if a agency has a good record," and he goes completely black and white, and you hear the anvil sound effect, and he literally just screams "damn it" in class. He's just in class, he's like "Kosuge!" So it's so fucking funny, yeah. And then we just get none of him except for the babysitting episodes.
At all,
Win those kids' hearts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. basically the plot starts in full when they bump into Aerie, as we mentioned.
Yep.
I mean, they're on
In the
patrol.
alleyway.
In the alley, yeah.
Pretty good. A pretty good scene. It's like definitely
Very
really
good.
effective when I first saw it. Yeah.
I agree.
I like Chisaki is kind of a different type of evil than we've seen before.
Mhm.
I almost wish he was actually her father because it would.
You think?
It'd be more fucked
it's
up.
fine. Yeah, it's fine that he's not. It's still obviously very evil, but like it would be like, oh wow, this is really like twisted and like crazy. But
That would be like, have y'all played Borderlands 2, right?
More or less.
Spoilers for Borderlands 2 as well. But
Jesus.
there's a part where Handsome Jack like basically sucks out, like he keeps his daughter, who is a siren, like one of the 4 sirens in the universe or whatever, the 6, and he keeps her in a dungeon, like extracting her energy to, create iridium.
Mhm.
So that's like another parallel I drew from that. If he was her father, it would have been the same thing.
right,
Yeah.
very
I mean,
true.
technically, it's still like his niece or whatever, right? Isn't it? Because it's or I guess he's
I don't
is he
think they're
adopted?
related,
I think
no.
he's
He's
adopted
not.
into the Yakuza.
He's not related to them.
So
Yeah.
he gets adopted in the Yakuza and becomes the heir of it. But then okay. So they're not directly related, but it's still like familial ties, close enough. But
Yeah,
also
and how he's able to call her with his mind and like just completely take over her actions. I think that's really insane.
yeah, it's complete brainwashing, and then he also uses the guy's quirk at the very end. But yeah, it's complete brainwashing where he gaslights the fuck out of her, where he's like, people die, people get hurt because of you. You're like nothing else but a pain to the world. I'm the only one who can control you. You need me, and like otherwise people will die, people will get hurt. Like you need to suffer so that other people don't. And it's such like insane, violent brainwashing to force onto like, what is she, like 6, 5?
Yeah.
I think she's like 8, 7 or 8, something like that.
Is she that old? Yeah. So either way, to hear
That's-
only that while day in day out getting dissected is like such a horrendous existence. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
how fucked up
he
that
breaks her down and builds her back up to continue
Yeah.
on with his plan to reinstate the Yakuza, which is pretty fucked. But
So,
I like his motivation. I thought it was pretty cool, and he is a pretty fucking great villain, honestly. Like he was one of the first villains in the show that I actually like connected with, and I actually gave a shit about. So
Yeah,
It's like using her
compelling.
blood to make those bullets that take out people's quirks.
right,
It's insane even on itself. Or the enhancement drugs too.
right,
yeah,
two sides of the same coin.
yeah, it's
but
planet's crazy.
Do we want to talk about the what's next? The Kirishima and Fat Gum patrol.
Oh yes, I would like to talk
Yo.
about that.
Fire,
Yo.
bro.
Fat Gum is dope.
Fat Gum
It
is
is dope.
awesome,
Fat
man.
Gum
I
is
love Fat Gum. I think his teeth are like the most wholesome thing ever, man. I don't
Yeah.
know why I just love like big teeth that like that you can't see where they end, so it's just his top row of teeth. I love it.
Yeah, he's
Fucking
great.
love him, man.
Yeah, I like
What's up?
Kirishima getting some more shine too. They're focused on him.
Facts,
some.
man.
Yeah, It's dope.
Kirishima responsible for 2 of my favorite episodes of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
He's got such a dope character design, so it's nice to not
Absolutely.
see it go to waste.
yeah. Let's
Expounds
go.
on it. He becomes like some fucking rock demon and shit. Like, and he can only hold it for like 30 to 40
Yeah, dude.
seconds.
His
And I-
freaking like eyeballs are hardened, even like what the
Yeah,
like they
he
got
looks like
cracks in
Gang
him. And
Orca.
I was gonna say, like, when he has that scene when he charges the Blades guy, I was like, I can imagine him getting ranked high up on the heroes that look like villains list.
Right.
Like he's got that vibe, especially with
Right.
his gear is like military-esque as well. So it's like, yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I love the line from the guy with the blades in his body. He's like, is his whole body creaking? It's like he's so hard that his like skin is like, yeah, it's crazy. And that's the first time he actually gets cut by anything, and so he has to go like full strength in a life or death situation with protecting people. And so it's a massive like growth moment. Where it's not just his life on the line, he's actually protecting civilians. And then after that, you get the super cool moment of like, and like Fat Gum is like, what a dope debut. Like he even like acknowledges it like as like, this is your first step towards celebrity as a hero. Is like people are gonna tell this story of like the first time Red Riot ever showed up and saved people. And so that's like that's super cool to me.
Yeah, he's got a dope costume. He's got great hair. He looks great. He's got a great fucking hero name. Like he's got everything going for him.
Yep.
So I was super happy he was getting a lot of shine in the season.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's
great.
he's one of my favorite voice actors when they yell his like ultimate moves when he's like Reda Rayata Gun Toretta. It's like it's so hype, it's so enunciated.
And it's just a punch.
It's so enunciated, yeah. It's just, and then he just smacks him in the face. Yeah, it's great. So it's simple, straightforward, but it's effective.
Some of them need to work on their ultimate moves, but that's besides the point.
That is true. Yeah, it's good. We get they set up and develop some more students, and then they have the meeting with everyone. It's basically what comes next, right? I mean,
the meeting, the entire fucking
an unpleasant
episode,
talk.
damn near is the whole episode.
Yeah.
Rocklock annoys the shit out of me. By the way, like he's so annoying. He's just he's like a 28-year-old boomer where he's just like, oh, these kids, man, get them off my council, man.
But then, okay, so when I was watching it back, I was like, I forgot he was like this. But then it's cool because they give him a reason to be that way. Where like he's like, my freaking kids at home. Like I couldn't imagine them being out in the field with us. Like when he's later on in the mission. But
right,
I feel like I don't know. He's a cool design. I don't know if they're gonna do anything more with him, but they certainly could.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting quirk. They can definitely play with how that works a lot. They do it a little bit in the raid, but not a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I like the meeting episode as far as setting stuff up. I mean, they have some cool visuals with Chisaki, like distributing the bullets, and they have some ominous music and everything. And then I definitely like the scene with after the meeting when Midoriya and everyone's sitting there, and then Aizawa comes up and is like, "All right, bro, like." I understand what's going on. I'm letting you come along because you're gonna do something stupid otherwise. But you cannot freaking like go kill yourself. Like, and he's just very cool. Like
Papa Aizawa.
Yeah, it's great that it doesn't have to be like All Might every time. Like Aizawa is a mentor in his own right. And,
very strict, very traditional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely cares about them to death. Sure.
Oh,
and he's absolutely one of the most vital heroes with the like essential quirk.
Period.
Yeah, that's it's him like being able to it's like when you learn to drive. I don't know if you guys had the monitored hours and everything, but we had these specially fitted cars where there were brakes in the passenger seat, so like the person monitoring us could hit the brakes for us if we needed to. Yeah, and
fuck that, that's wild.
Yeah, so that's how the cars were fitted. They were specially fitted for driving lessons, but
now don't stop the car when I'm driving. No.
Yeah,
I mean it's like if some dickhead 15-year-old is about to go into is about to run a red light, you just stomp on the brakes for them. Like
that's still dangerous, I think.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. We're not here to talk about that. Anyway, that's what it reminds me of.
Episode where we talk about
that's what reminds me of is like
last episode
is Eraserhead. Eraserhead can basically like take the wind out of anyone's sails at any point, like so they don't hurt themselves, so they don't get carried away, whatever. And then fucking Recovery Girl. It's like the joke was like My Hero with Recovery Girl is like a 2-inch thick book, and then like My Hero without Recovery Girl is like 2 inches thick, like it's tiny. There's no story, and then with her it's like as far as it is. So yeah, those
2 inches is a long story.
Yeah. Those
2 centimeters.
A couple of cornerstone quirks, as we'll get to in the final fight, I'm sure.
For sure.
But where are we at? Yeah, I like the slow build if it's done properly. I think they do it well, and then we get into the.
I like part of the build is just Midoriya's like mental state, which is like around this time. It's just he has 2 huge things to stress about, which we haven't really touched on. Is All Might has like the sort of the Night Eye controversy and everything, and then realizing it's because Night Eye predicted his death,
right?
And so he's like stressing and freaking going crazy, which makes total sense. And then you have I love the scene with like Todoroki finally has at least one scene in the freaking season where it's a very simple scene. He's just having lunch with Ida and Todoroki, and I'm like, dang man, you're all right, like, and they give him their lunch and stuff. And I think Midoriya's like, heroes aren't supposed to cry, and Todoroki's like, I don't know, I figure heroes cry when they need to, and it's
right.
That's very wholesome, very
dude.
Like I freaking underrate Todoroki for some reason. He's so good. Like the fact that he has been through all this and he has a sort of like, vengeance motive in a certain type of way, but he's very like balanced and wholesome as well. Like he doesn't have to be super edgy just for the sake of it.
And he's not. Cool. Like I don't think he's ever been like. I don't think there's ever been a point in the show where I'm just like, this kid is so edgy. Like,
Yeah,
the first time I saw him, I'm just like, please don't be Sasuke. Right. He's not like at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't
exactly.
resemble that at all.
Yeah.
Like every bit of the supporting cast is all like legitimate support. Like they're not there to like antagonize them or like, you know, call Deku a fucking idiot for not living up to their standards or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're all super wholesome.
Yeah,
How the fuck you can write a 20 character cast be all wholesome is beyond me. But they do it, man.
Yeah, man.
They're one big family.
That's what this show executes so well. And yeah, we get, you know, Todoroki starts off with that edge where he's like, I must reject my father in all respects. And it's like, but then he actually has meaningful character growth, and they do it in such a beautiful way, like we talked about with the sports festival. And then they're just homies. They're just good homies hanging out, living. And that was the crazy thing to me was that when I looked at it, except for like the first few episodes of season 1, most of this events of the entire series is like 3 months, and like in that like seasons most of 1, 2, and 3 is like 3 months worth of time, and then I think season 4 is like another month. So they've not even known each other like half a year, but like they're so bonded through like near death experiences that they're just like great homies already.
Yeah, they've only known each other for like half a year, like at most.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like no time at all.
Yeah. But the show makes it feel like there's like 4 separate years, but they're still in their first year.
They're still class 1A. Like they still have like 2 years to go, and we've already had 4 seasons. Like the amount of shit that happens in absolutely no time in this show is
they're going to
ridiculous.
become pro heroes in year 2 or some shit like that.
They're going to become pro heroes in season 17. Like it's going to be ridiculous, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope not. I don't know.
Be wild at this point if they just sped through like year 2, or maybe they just graduate them early because of fucking.
That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Like I think they're gonna be pro heroes like during the school year. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna wait the traditional framework.
They just have a punch card that no one knows about, where they punch it every time they have a near death experience, and once they hit 10, they just graduate automatically.
God,
there you go. Perfect.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
all right. And then the next main arc is chasing Chisaki, right?
Yeah, they get to the raid. Yep.
Slow burn.
How'd you feel about Homeboy's quirk, where he's like he basically creates a funhouse with like the trippy walls and shit?
Well, yeah, his quirk was that he takes over like whatever he wants, basically. So now that is his body, and he's just like, you guys are inside me, Paul.
Hey, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, they talk about like nothing bigger than a refrigerator, and then he takes the drug, and then he's the entire basement.
The whole basement.
Yeah. But I feel like it wasn't like it was like super effective, but not like as effective as it should have been, because it wasn't
effective.
There's times where it's like they're like, oh god, he's gonna cave it in on us, and then they just escape like by themselves. And then there's like a bunch of like columns swirling in, and they just like dodge him, and then it's like, oh, like wobbly again, and But then he uses it to extremely good effect when he like cuts people off and like seals people away. So it's like it's a weird 50-50 where sometimes he executes it perfectly and sometimes he just seems useless.
Yeah, and then Deku just fucking like crash through the wall and save everyone anyway.
Yeah, Lemillion was like, "It's not for me."
Yeah, right.
He's like, all right, I'm out.
Y'all can't go through walls.
I'm out.
Couldn't be me.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, it's a very plot device quirk. I mean, it separates the group that need to be separated. It makes Lemillion go ahead. Basically, it's like
Yeah, it's actually a perfect.
It's good
way
writing.
Of putting it.
It's good writing.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Is that it is a plot device quirk? Yeah, that's the perfect way of putting it, David. Where it sets up the bubbles, the fights that we get, which is yet another Kirishima and Fat Gun fight.
Kirishima, man, that shit was big hype.
Does that happen first, or does Sun Eater happen first?
Sun Eater happens first, actually.
I was actually falling asleep on this episode. Like this was the third episode I had watched that night, and I was like dead tired. It was like 11:30. And like I guess the fight only took like what, a minute and a half. It wasn't like that drawn out. I don't think missed a whole lot. It's
pretty drawn out. They talk for a little while. Like they talk about like almost too much for my taste about like we were trash and we were repurposed by Chisaki, by Overhaul. Like he's our Lord and Savior basically. Overhaul. Yeah. And so they're like, we're trash, but even trash has purpose. And so they monologue, but not monologue. It's the three. Well, one of them can't talk, but it's the two of them like over and over again talking about it. But they're fighting in between. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite fight. I mean, I like Sun, but
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I like Sun Eater, but like Cameron said, they monologue and it's like, all right, there's like these 3 criminal like bullet dudes, and they have to go into like, he was rejected by society. I stole something, you know. I freaking was in a gang, like, and we're all it's like, I get it. You're in the Yakuza, like, I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think the fight was that remarkable. So
yeah.
I think
what I remember,
it has a cool conclusion where he like improvises and he eats the crystals and then he like manifests the crystals first try. It's you get to show. I like seeing his back. That's more of a backstory fight than it is like an actual cool fight because it sets up him as a character for hopefully the season's going on because I like him as a character and I think he's really strong when he wants to be with that Chimera Kraken. That was cool as fuck. So.
His quirk is really fucking cool where you can just basically turn into whatever he eats.
Yeah.
Like if he eats takoyaki, he can just turn into a fucking octopus. It's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Fat Gum gives him the swordfish right before the raid. He's like, you might need this. Yeah.
You might need this.
Yeah.
He's got wings and shit. He's got like 4 different parts. He's just a mismatch of
he's got
a complete amalgamation of whatever
he's harvesting Jurassic Park for that like pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Meat.
Yeah.
He's got
he
ammo.
eats Ryuku and just like
oh my god. Imagine.
Fucked up. Just cannibalism for a quirk. God.
That'd be kind of crazy if it could work that way. Yeah. Damn.
Jesus. Please don't try that.
Please don't try that.
Try that.
Yeah, but he's got the ammo belts that are just filled with food because that's his ammo.
Are these wee-wees? I know that's not him, but
but yeah, that final improvisation where he ends up 1v3ing. It's cool. It's a good. It's not like
it's cool.
It gets to show his backstory, why he's so timid, why he looks up to Mirio so much, and it shows a good bit about Mirio's character as well. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, do you want to go to the next fight?
We should go to the next fight.
Kirishima. Pretty great. I will say, I'm glad that they didn't allow him to like completely overpower. Like they build it up the whole fight where he's just like, "Yo, I need to channel this energy. I need to, not let Fat Gum die for me or whatever." I'm glad that they don't let him just fully resolve it by himself. Like he basically takes a complete beating, and Fat Gum has to, absorb all that energy that he took in.
Yeah.
Like what I'm trying to say is, I'm glad that Kirishima didn't just like completely overpower, like one punch it.
Yeah, just point. Like power friendship 1v2 them like out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that would be dumb as fuck. It would just lose a lot of its, subjective realism.
Not everyone needs to be completely overpowered.
So yeah, he gets back up and he's taking punches from Rappa and he's saying, "What? He was blown away before," and he takes enough and he's like, "If it hardens, just build it back, just harden it again." And he takes the hits and he collapses and Fat Gum's like, the reason you guys lost this fight is because both me and you two underestimated the hero called Red Riot, and then he finishes him off with one hit. It's so clean.
That's dope.
It's sheer willpower, honestly.
Fat Gum, when he's not fat, he's such a beast. He's just like
he's fit as fuck, dude.
I didn't like it, man. I wanted him to be fat. This was like the complete opposite of Thor in Endgame. I wanted him to be fat as shit.
No,
I love him as
it
I
makes
love
sense
Fat
for
Gum.
his quirk. He just released all his power and now he's gonna store it back as fat.
No, I totally get it. I like the fat aesthetic for him though. He's super cute.
This is a perfect.
It's adorable.
It's a very cool quirk.
I like that quirk a lot.
Yeah, it's a cool showcase of it. Yeah, and then I like. It's almost like a funny, convenient thing where, like in Kirishima's like flashback, he just knocks the thing over, and it just happens to be the Red Riot interview or the Crimson Riot interview. Yeah, I remember watching that back, like, oh, whatever. But that's a great. I really like his whole motivation of being like chivalrous and like one time I didn't move to save someone, so now it's like I think of that every time, and I have to just freaking move myself. It's pretty dope.
I do love that motivation, but I don't like how that episode took 10 minutes to show his like backstory, and it wasn't like that powerful where I needed 10 minutes of backstory for it.
Yeah, it's drag.
But I like the last like 20 seconds or whatever where he actually shows the motivation.
Definitely
big people.
I'll say this kind of with this season, and it's more just for this first arc, but like they go with a more stereotypical standard like structure and like just writing. Like it's very linear. It's like, okay, even like we're gonna have these individual fights and you're gonna show their backstory in this one episode and then it's gonna be concluded. And I don't particularly like that. I mean, it's a good a good arc still, but when I was going back through the other seasons, and then when I got to this, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a big difference. Like in season 3, stuff will just be thrown at you, interconnected, like stuff's happening, and you know.
Rocio kind of like foreshadowed this this season for me, where she was just like because I was asking her like impressions on it before I watched it, and she was like, it's cool, but there's a finite goal that is super clear, like for the first like maybe 60% of the season, where there's a goal that they have to achieve, and then that's it. Like it's super linear, and you can basically see exactly where it's going.
Yeah,
which is like, especially coming out there like season 3, where there was like 4 or 5 major arcs that popped off like the entire time you were just enthralled by action, and then this one is kind of.
Yeah, and even like the fights are completely bubbled off from one another, basically. So like until this is solved, nothing else is going to happen. You know, you get your matchup, you get exactly like one person's going to win, or one group's going to win, one group's going to lose, whatever.
Right.
And like when it was the summer camp arc, they Midoriya finishes fighting like Muscle Dude and then has to run over to the other place and like help them, and then like everyone's intertwined, like you were saying, and interconnected. Whereas this, you know, truly bubbles everyone off into, you know, separate encounters, which is good in and of itself, but yeah, it does get formulaic and a bit predictable almost.
It almost oddly didn't feel like I was watching My Hero. Like it felt like I was watching a knockoff My Hero show where it was like even the environment was like super mundane and pedestrian, where it was just like concrete blocks around everywhere. You didn't know where you were. That's my only like major gripe of the show or the season.
I'll say that My Hero sets the bar very high for itself. Is how that happens.
Tough. It's tough to come after a season 3 like that. Like they had season 3 is phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, basically, it's worth the conclusion of the arc, right? Just
fucking Night Eye gets slammed. I thought he was gonna live, man.
We got to talk about Lemillion giving the hands to to what's his face, freaking Chisaki for a little while. That was like I was dying to see him go all out against a real villain, against like not, you know, Class 1A, who he just manhandled, but it's like to see him actually go all out and use his quirk, and like when it's before that fight even actually starts, when he comes down the hallway, when he's facing the drunk guy and the guy with the gun. Homie's got a gun, part 2.
Part 3 or 4 or
part
5
3
or
or 4,
6.
actually. Yeah, they've been shooting people for a while now, actually. Yeah. But yeah, he's like, yeah, the intoxication quirk just doesn't work on me because I regularly shift my atoms to move through walls, so I'm chilling, not worried about it. And so he handles them, and his actual, I think he's supposed to be American as well, and they translate it, I think, as like Phantom Terror or something, but the line he says is Phantom Menace is what he calls his like funny. As in Star Wars. So
yeah, that's not the first Star Wars reference that they have as well. They have one in the later season, but
yeah. So he does that, but then you get to see him. He defeats them handedly, and then he goes into the ground and pops up behind Chisaki, and the other guy is carrying her, and it's the first time not the first time, but like a very, very clean kick where he passes his foot through Eri's head, and then just like roundhouses the guy carrying her, and then just in one swift motion picks her up and runs. And he does that for like the entire fight, where he's, you know, phasing himself through the objects, through Chisaki, through his blocks. There's a really good moment where he phases his hand through the hand to block and then punches him in the face. It's all that good stuff. So what do you
for sure. That's
I think I remember like a scene where it's like not animated, it's just like still images of him that show up.
They do that.
I mean, it's
cool,
after
he loses his quirk.
It would be nasty if they animated it. Like,
there's a couple moments of this season where I felt like the animation was a little lackluster. Like, I guess I don't want to skip ahead, but I guess we'll bring that back up. But,
his fight makes me. I didn't think this the first time I watched it, but rewatching it, I came to the conclusion that I wish he had beaten Chisaki. I think it would have
by himself.
Yeah, Mirio. I mean, he could have had help from Night Eye and Midoriya and whatever, but like, I feel like, especially with Night Eye dying and everything, he is Night Eye's like main, like, you know, protege.
Right.
So you have that. You have just the fact that he is supposed to be so powerful, and then the fact that he still can't beat Chisaki, but Midoriya can, is a little bit I mean, I get why he can, but like, I love the fight that ensues where Midoriya just beats the frick out of him.
Yeah.
I do very much, but
I think it centers from the fact that it basically means nothing in the end. Like Chisaki just gets fully healed. Like he just fully heals himself, and then that's like the true boss battle versus Midoriya, where like Mirio puts in all this effort and then like comes very close to defeating him, and then has to take the hit, and then the fight just resets. And so it's like, it's not like, I mean, he bought time, obviously, and all that good stuff, but it's like, it would feel better if he had more of a lasting impact on that victory, So I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And I would have really enjoyed the moment of him, like, if he still lost his quirk and then he still beat the frick out of Chisaki without a quirk, that would have been amazing. Like, holy frick, this dude is, like, legit, and you don't necessarily need a quirk to be a hero and that kind of thing. I think I would have rather had that, but...
I disagree, because I love the sequence that ensues right after.
I get
probably the best part of the season.
Yeah, I prefer the way it ends up going, but I see definitely what you're saying.
It subverts your expectations of Mirio's strength and like not being this all-encompassing, like invincible person that they literally build him up to be.
But to me, it just goes with the expectation that Midoriya is just going to beat everyone, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, there is that whole like 2-minute long stretch where he loses his quirk, he gets shot, and then he's still like beating the shit out of Chisaki, and like even the henchman is like, but his quirk that made him so unbeatable, it should be gone, and it's like he's still like dodging and punt and like just getting like hits after hits, and he just eventually can't keep up with how outrageously overpowered Overhaul's quirk is. And so so he does get that moment where he's still a baller, and he lives to fight another day, and I hope to see infinitely more Mirio. I love him as a hero, as a character, and his quirk is just like so cool in animation, in fights. Like I said, there's really clean moments where he just phases through and lands perfect hits.
I agree. Yeah,
I will say I'm glad that Night Eye actually dies instead of them being like,
True.
He's been impaled. He's expected to make a full recovery. Like
I'm totally with you, but like they don't bill it like he's going to die. Until he dies, they don't bill it like that. He was like stabbed for like a whole fucking episode, and like first of all, I don't know how he was still alive. Like let's be honest.
Yeah,
my hero does that.
They're all humans at the end of the day. They're not like impervious to this kind of damage. So he's sitting there impaled as fuck. And then he's on the bed, and they're like taking him to the hospital. Oh, he'll be fine. He's just really tired. He has no energy. And then he dies. Like I'm totally fine with him dying, but like they just do it wrong for me. I wish that they would have emphasized.
True because
I just wish they would have emphasized how critical his state was.
Yeah, I felt the same way when watching it. I'm just like, is he actually not gonna die? I'm like, there's no way he doesn't die from this.
Right.
And then he died, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah. My hero, that's one of its shortcomings for me, is how often they do that, where they inflict fatal damage on a character, and then the character just ends up living for like either longer than they should or just entirely. The first one, I think, being 13 at USJ, like accidentally gets her quirk used on herself and like destroys, or himself, I don't know, whatever. And destroys half the body, and then Best Genius gets absolutely fucking smoked by
he literally
All for
dies
One,
on screen,
and like gets like holes put clean through his body, and then he's just like, Best Genius was just on hiatus for a month, he's fine now. And so
that is true.
And so they have that. I mean, I'm sure they have healing quirks and stuff like that, but it's like, you got fucking smoked, dude, and now you're just fine. And so Trevor, don't you know, if you leave the massive piece of stone that destroyed half your vital organs in, you can live for as long as you want.
Right.
It's hard to breathe, but like
don't.
if you leave the thing that's occupying half of your chest cavity in your body, then you're just fine.
Half. He had the whole fucking pillar, bro.
You're right.
He had the fucking Washington Monument in his fucking chest, man.
All that being said, I'm fine with it because they get that moment at the end before he dies, when he's in the hospital bed and he uses his quirk on Mirio, and he like gives him the words of like, you'll be a greater hero than anyone else ever will be, and that gives you that hope. No, we'll see.
Lie.
I really hope.
I think I said that when I watched that scene. A lie.
No,
I don't think so. I think
Sir Knight, I don't cap.
that is true. Yeah,
He is not going to surpass Deku. You got another thing coming.
I mean, he's already better than Deku, but he like
apparently not.
Deku is about to deck you, my man.
I mean, he uses the word finest. You'll be a finer hero than anyone else, which is different from strongest or best. So,
yeah, I hope he gets his shine. Like he says.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Number one.
He's not number one.
Not number one. He might be best in the approval ratings, but not number one.
Nope.
The finest. He just means he's gonna be really handsome. Yeah.
As they
but that fucking. Let's talk about the fucking. So like when Lemillion gets fucking ranked and. He's absolutely ranked. Yeah, and like Chisaki's just like increasing in power, like right before your very eyes, and he just starts mutating and all this shit, and he's just like, all right, I'm gonna take Eri and run, and we're gonna flee. You can't take my girl. We're gonna build the Yakuza back. Yeah. And so he just builds that mountain up, and Deku starts running up and shit, and then it when I talked about it in the earlier episode, or earlier in the episode, she realizes that they're not going to stop until they rescue her. So she throws herself off the ledge, and he catches her, and everything, all the sounds like cut out, and it's just like music, and it was so baller. And then he just has to like start dodging with his like 100%.
It is cinematically gorgeous. Yeah, it's great.
Fucking awesome.
Audio, visual, everything just works on fires in all cylinders, and you just get like a perfect.
And then he goes Super Saiyan, man. Oh my god, that was flame, man. Oh my god, I want to make that the artwork so bad, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone that doesn't like know that he's going to reach that state. Because if I had known that he would have done that, I would have been like.
Yeah, he's literally glowing. Dude, it
was such a nice surprise. He was literally, dude. He had the fucking like Super Saiyan Goku shit on. I was like,
his face is lit up. His eyes are glowing, and they have like the lightning coming off of him, and his entire body has the lightning coming off of it. He's popping off.
I am totally fine with him being the most overpowered human ever.
Yeah. And so that's it. Yeah. Go ahead, David.
Just me saying the plot thing I had. It doesn't mean I don't definitely love this fight. I mean, it's pretty great. He could have gone Super Saiyan at a different point, but regardless, this is dope. The mechanic of the fact that she's like,
dude, that mechanic was dank.
It's crazy.
He's destroying his body.
Crazy. It's crazily perfect.
Literally, like I got to destroy my body faster than she can like reverse it. Like it's so dope.
Yeah,
infinite 100%.
Oh my god, man!
The infinite. That's the name.
And then there's a scene where like she's like on the ground and she's like screaming, and there's like lightning coming out of her horn, like that comes out of her quirk, and she's like and then Eraserhead just kind of
I was gonna say shut
the fuck up.
That's right when she gets erased. That's the cornerstone quirk we were talking about earlier. Is like this is basically a nuclear bomb of time erasure sitting on the ground, and you gotta wrap that up real quick, or else you're gonna have problems.
Deku's literally gonna die.
So
right before you very
Eraserhead just right place, right time yet again. But they have that in the fight. They have that one moment where it's like the 1,000 punches coming from heaven, like One Punch Man style.
That was the part that I was like, the animation was a little lackluster for me.
You didn't like that?
The punch didn't hit nearly as hard as it should have.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I thought it was different. It was like a different way of showing that he's just like sending so many punches. It's just like beating the frick out of him, like it's a wall of punches.
Right.
I thought that was dope.
And I love myself a good old-fashioned airborne anime fist fight. Like, the fact that they're just inexplicably in the air. He just accidentally launches himself with his first kick because he doesn't realize how strong he's about to hit it.
He's like, oh, wait, this is 100%, and I'm not dying.
Overall breaks down his henchmen's bodies and builds that grotesque-ass monster around him.
It was disgusting.
Where he just, like, has become fully unhinged and, like, doesn't care about the germs, the gross anymore. He just fucking is gross himself. But then
it kind of looks like homie dies after he like yeets him out of the air, and he's just like, his eyeballs are completely white, and he's just got blood coming out of his mouth. I thought he was dead. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
Honestly,
the show does that a lot.
There's a lot of times when they hit the ground or they finally take the last hit, and you're like, bro, how are you not fucking dead? Like that was like the show just put just put so much effort into showing how toast you should be, and you're somehow still alive.
Yeah. No, it's a great fight. It's very hype.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm going to be more critical of this season just because of how I feel about it. I liked the Chisaki stuff less when I rewatched it. The first time I watched it, I thought this season was like, oh dang, this is basically on par. I was enjoying every minute of it, and then rewatching it, I was able to be a little more critical. And I like Chisaki is one of the best villains I think we've seen, but also during the fight, I like you already understand his backstory and his plan and like who he is, like with the whole like being disgusted by heroes and stuff. And then they still go for like minutes and minutes more into his backstory when I feel like I understood everything.
That's
and
true.
I really wasn't interested in it the second time at all. I'm not gonna lie. Even though the fight is great, it like interrupts the fight a little bit to me. But
Can we get a petition to replace cloth masks with Chisaki masks?
You mean plague doctor masks?
Yeah, the plague doctor.
Yeah.
But specifically that design, just everybody walking around like.
You got a very long mask, I will say. It must be very difficult to walk through doorways without hitting shit.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you just turn left too fast in the narrow hallway, and you
just fucking knocks the shit out of someone. Sorry, mom.
You're just knocking potted plants
off
the shelf.
I will say when they catch him, and he's turned in, is coming up. One of my favorite scenes in the whole season is when they're transporting him on the truck, and then freaking Shigaraki and his squad just jump the truck is like the most badass thing. Yeah. They break his freaking arms off.
They do some really cold-blooded shit. Yeah.
Say goodbye to your arms.
For someone that takes quirks away, you shouldn't rely on yours, right? And so he just yeets his arms off.
It's so sadistic.
That's the last that you see in Sasaki, I think.
And they take, and this part kind of bothers me because they get the bullets from the truck as well. Why are they transporting the bullets with him? Like, what are you doing?
That's actually very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whose decision was this? Like, all the pro heroes are like, yeah, let's put it on this truck.
Put it on one truck.
One Brinks truck that is just going to get annihilated.
Yeah, that is very true. I like the scene a lot too, but that doesn't make any sense.
I think if you had to apply logic to it, they figure, we got the big baddie, like there's no one coming after him, like we've ousted his entire organization, like who gives a frick about the League of Villains? And then the League of Villains is like, you guys should give a frick about the League of Villains. So
yeah, I mean, they know the League of Villains was there though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you wanted to slap any logic on it, but yeah, it's definitely. I agree with you guys about police logic is not great there.
Yeah, but I mean, the Night Eye scene is a pretty great end to the arc. I think heartbreaker for sure. We've sort of already touched on it. Pretty great resolution with. Well, actually, it's cool that. One of the best parts of the Midoriya fight is that like he changes the future that Night Eye saw.
Yeah,
it's like
so I'm naming the episode "Twist the Future."
There you go.
Twist the Future.
Yeah, that's great. I love that shit. Where he just completely defies his quirk. He's like, "This is not cemented. You can change your future."
Mm-hmm.
I love that theme.
Yeah, and Night Eye's like, maybe this is the what happens when you get like this collective willpower together that just will not freaking like break or anything.
It's dope, dude. It's so dope.
Pretty great. It's very great shonen theme for sure. Yeah, and it's cool. So he gets like maybe All Might won't die. He knows that Midoriya has changed things. Mirio has a bright future ahead, even though he's in a low spot now. Pieces out basically. Dang.
Yeah, like I said before, I wish that it was more clear that he was on his deathbed. I thought he was gonna make it, and then he did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I also question the logic. They're like, because they just introduced someone who can reverse injuries, which is Eri, and they're like, but she might get out of control. But they also have Eraserhead, so I feel like they technically could have used her to heal Night Eye, but they just have to. It's kind of like a writing thing that, like, I guess the mangaka didn't consider, maybe. Like
that, he just has maybe she was just so like mentally exhausted. Maybe her quirk wouldn't work like that immediate, and he just had to. He was, bad timing.
They talk about
all their quirks have cooldowns.
Yeah, they talk about how the horn got smaller. She's probably like out of power, like out of gas, basically. Even if they did think of that, and like even if they do think of that, they know nothing about how it works, so that they could erase. It could go from heal to out of existence in like 1 second, and so it's like I mean, what's the risk if he's gonna die? I guess that's a logical argument. Like if he dies either way, like why not try? I guess makes sense. But I think the most
it was just on cooldown.
The most show logic thing to say about it is that it's she's out of gas.
Yeah,
but
it's not
she's definitely gonna bring back freaking Lemillion's power.
Absolutely. They hinted at that later in the season.
Yeah. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, I was
I'm ready
thinking
for
it.
that.
I think I watched this season concurrently as it released, and I was thinking that I mean, I think everyone thinks it as soon as he loses his quirk. Like if it's her quirk that can take it away, maybe it can give it back. And then they say it directly, like in the season, is like once Eri grows up, she might be able to get me my quirk back, or like they hit it on the nose like pretty hard. So hopefully that is accurate foreshadowing. Hopefully we get more Lemillion action, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
I'm tough today, dude. I don't know what's up, but
All good, all goody.
Oh well.
I guess the next transition or the next arc is the probably the low point for me in the season. I think it's their licensing provisional exam.
That is fair. Yeah.
It had me in tears, boredom, man. That shit was so boring. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't give a shit about any of those kids.
Yeah, MHA can definitely stretch the concept of hero to a lot of different things. They got to learn a lot. Love so many of the characters, but it can only go so far. Honestly, like
it wasn't
for me either. It's kind of
I was cool on this.
Yeah, we don't got to talk about much. I don't think.
Yeah. I was kind of pissed. It was a 3-episode segment, and that was like the episodes that I was watching that night. So I just got like cucked.
Snooze.
Like a bad arc. I was just like, come on. I'm already falling asleep.
And
like,
Trevor goes sleep.
Up.
Yep. Yeah.
Bakugo wants to kill the kids, and then
right.
nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm cool on this arc.
Yeah,
and then
yep.
So most of the second half of the season feels like, I know it's canon, but it's like canon filler kind of.
Right.
Which
it's my slice of life academia.
It is. I enjoy the school festival. I love the school. Yeah, that was dope. And the fact that it's like the main part of even like the opening is just focused on the school festival.
Yep.
They're training, Bakugo's on the drums. It's dope. It's wholesome.
Yeah, the splash page at the very end has them in the band outfits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you gonna do my man Midoriya dirty in the sports festival? His role is to hold rope. Like, come on, my man could do so much more.
Did great.
But they do give Aoyama his time to shine yet again.
Oh, did you give him that horror episode? I thought that was hilarious, but I'm just like, dude, I was like, are they really gonna ruin this character? Like, what happens? Like, what is he doing?
Creeping Deku out. I love that.
And then it's like real sus, like coming at him at night. Like, bruh.
I adore him, dude.
And he's like, that's when I, became friends with Aoyama. I was like,
right,
lit. That's dope, man. I hope they go on adventures together.
Yeah, I think he's so it'd be fun.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're homies. Yeah, they
and
I love they get Eri to visit the school, and all the girls like Suyu and Uraraka are geeking over how cute Eri is and everything, and they get to you get to see her just walk around. Eri got to be one of the cutest characters in anime, dude. Like everything about her just screams protect, like must protect.
Right.
It's just she's fantastic.
Such flowing hair, it's like silver.
Yeah,
she's pretty great. I don't know. She's not at Nezuko level for me right now.
True,
what? Nah,
I fully agree.
I think they're on par.
That's tough. I won't make a decision now. I gotta go to the boardroom with that one.
That is tough.
I'm agreeing with Alex, and I also
I'm a Nezuko fan, so it pains me to say that, but
yeah, I will say I hope she is not a prominent feature of any upcoming seasons. Honestly, I'm with you guys that like she's very adorable. You want to protect her. She can certainly have her place in the thing. I'm not trying to be some weirdo who's dictating. Well, obviously I'm not saying what's gonna happen, but like. I think it's weird to me that suddenly like these kids who are still growing up have this younger kid to protect, and that's like their main motivation. I want to see them like focus on themselves, grow up, be.
I think they will, but I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. But this season scares me, honestly. I do not want it to be. Midoriya is like a substitute father now. Like he's a kid.
Like they're keeping her in the teachers' dorms. Like they're gonna write it in such a way where they're not gonna have to babysit them. It's gonna be heroes that are off screen. It's not gonna be what you think.
She'll just pop up and be a mascot and be cute and be like, let's fight for Eri and all that stuff. But she's like, if they do a whole like Eri gets kidnapped arc, I'll lose my shit probably. But
they're not going to do that.
But
I
don't think there's any chance they do. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna come true like that. But
I don't think
they don't repeat arcs. So.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
But I definitely happy cry right along with my man Mirio when her face lights up when she's super happy watching the concert.
I cried at the concert. Like,
yeah,
that
dude,
just,
it's so good. And they put on such a good performance that even the people that came just to hate on it end up dancing and end up like popping off.
Yeah,
And they're like
Class
struggling. They're
1B
struggling
haters.
not to. Yeah, or even the older kids maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, it's like It's such a good show. I love that song as well.
It was definitely one of those. It was one of those moments where I was just like so overwhelmed with joy. Like this show. It's like I said, like in the last couple episodes that we've done, this show like does something to me where like when it's like firing on all cylinders and you've got the perfect slice of life like arcs that they do.
Yeah,
it makes me so happy, man. Just I love seeing their interactions and just getting together for a common cause. It's
super joyous.
It's wonderful. That's fucking wonderful.
I agree.
I've largely been skipping over talking about Gentle and La Brava largely because I'm glad we're all seasoned. I think looking back on My Hero, it's like however many years from now, right now is like one of the most forgettable villains, obviously.
It was the most filler arc of all time.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. And he's the fight is like kind of cool with the elastic air. It's like cool how he plays it, and you get to it's a nice little showcase of his new gear with the air darts when he actually
Did anybody laugh at freaking General Criminal's backstory when he's just saving the dude. He's like, I'll save you. He throws his air thing, and then the hero flies into his air pocket and gets decked.
And he doesn't die. The guy that gets fucking hit by whatever that was falling, the fucking paint dot that he uses on the building. Dude, he doesn't die. He just collapsed right on it, and then he's just like, oh man, it took me 6 months to recover. Get the fuck out of here, man. He died.
Oh yeah,
that man flew right.
That was funny as shit, though. Yeah, he just like he's doing a little arc, right? And then he just.
It's good. Yeah, but it's their partnership is cheesy as fuck. Where her quirk literally is like not the power of friendship, but the power of love. It's like I love him so much that I make him stronger. But then it just didn't matter because Midoriya was just stronger anyway.
Power in the hands of a simp.
And then she's a simp. She's one of the biggest simps in anime, dude.
But she's
God,
middle school, right? Like,
no, she's older. She's just tiny.
So yeah, it's a situation where she's like 22 or something, but she looks 4. Like she's like 2 feet tall. It's like,
and he's like 28, but looks about 45.
Yeah, it's
they just want to be YouTube criminal 24-hour challenges overnight.
Their videos had like 750 dislikes and no likes at all.
It's a pretty good meme. It's a pretty good meme.
Yeah, it's I forgot about the power love thing. I when I rewatched, I skipped over the entire Gentle Criminals. I was like, started
you don't
at
need
like
to see any of it.
Yes, it was
insanely filler.
I think they, for a very filler thing, there's some nice elements like how he's like arrested and they're like okay, you can get a second chance at life, and I like that. But
yeah, I like he's a gentleman at least. He's polite.
Yeah.
La Brava, one of the best hackers on the planet, using her talents just to simp.
Yeah.
And did y'all? I should have kept a counter of how many times he said her fucking name. Man.
La Brava.
La Brava.
La Brava.
La Brava.
Like she ended. He either ended the sentence or started it with her name. I was just like, you can chill a little bit. Like she's not going anywhere. We know who she is.
Yeah, probably the weakest part of My Hero. Which this is my least favorite season. That sort of ties into it. Yeah, this is like
it's not even close.
Yeah,
I think season 1 absolutely shits on this.
I was gonna say season 1 is the next one, but it's better than this, honestly.
Yeah.
But
the first 3 seasons are super solid to me, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, season 2 and 3, high tier. Like, god damn.
That's insanely high tier. Yeah,
God tier.
I mean, I gave them both a 10. So
there you go. I give them both.
I'll say this though. So this is the first big anime box installment we've had over 3 parts, and it's also the first time where we're like all hyped for the next season. It's not the first time, but we can speculate.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
What would we like to see for the next season? Because we all in the dark now.
Well, we actually got kind of like season 5, episode 1 more than we got, the last episode of season 4 with his start, that Endeavor and Hawks episode.
Let's not skip it. Before we forget. Before I forget, at least the school festival arc. There's like a certain point where they're doing the concert, or whatever, and they're trying to make Eri shine. Eri smile. They're trying to make her smile. Yeah, and there's like a great splash of like maybe 3 seconds where there's like the darkness where they keep having that splash page of Chisaki over her.
Oh,
and like they have that demonic picture. They keep flashing that, and then when she smiles, it washes off her, and it's like a 2-second thing, and it's like if you blink, you'll miss it. But I thought that was like such great imagery.
Yeah, you're perfectly right.
I wanted to.
It's definitely worth going back to. Yeah, it's great imagery for sure. I completely agree.
Definitely worth mentioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking forgot that the Endeavor fight happened. Like, I thought that was the end.
This is the biggest, like you said, next season ending of a season that's already out. I was so unexpected when I watched this for the first time. It blew my mind. I was like, what? It just like is another like little story at the end of it, which is my favorite part of the season. It's this part? Yeah, that's my favorite part of the season for sure. The Endeavor fight is one of my favorite fights in the show, and I realized that on second watch. I literally had my eyes a little watery when I watched this fight, which is also a controversial point because I'm interested to see what they do with Endeavor because they cannot. It's a touchy subject. They can't just be like, "Oh, he's redeemed now." Like let's make jokes with Endeavor or whatever.
Yeah,
and I don't think they will. I have faith in like the writer and everything, but
yeah, I don't know. They've put all this effort into. Todoroki as a character living in his shadow and what it means for him to be powerful but not beat All Might and all that stuff, and that led to him being a serial abuser of his family and all this stuff and causing all this chaos within his family and being just a general kind of a scumbag, even though he is even though his profession is being a hero. So it's like it's like I like Endeavor but I don't like Endeavor. It's like it's a good guy but a cool hero, or a bad guy but a cool hero. So it's like definitely
build it up to allow you to dislike him very, very much so for the entire thing. And I'm glad that they actually gave him a redemption, like a little bit, where he actually has some time to shine. And, because like for the entirety of the show, you're just like, he's a fucking prick, like that's basically that's the entire light that he has. And,
Shoto!
Yeah. But to see him actually grapple with something by himself for the most part I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, he gets the boost from Hawks. I want to see a lot more out of Hawks. Hawks, I love as a character. Like, you get to see Hawks for 2 episodes, and I'm already like, yo, this character's dope.
Yeah, he's a little obnoxious, but
exactly.
His personality is a little bit obnoxious, but
exactly. That's part of what I like about him.
I don't.
I love Hawks. Yeah, I think
he's a little bit of a handful.
Yeah. I like the ranking and the setup, and then this is nuts. Like this
number one hero, it didn't feel like he was gonna win that fight, man.
I know, right?
There's like 2 times where I thought he died.
Yeah,
he's and not really like the number one hero. Like that's the thing. Like even though he is, like that's what he's battling with. Like because he ain't All Might,
Yeah,
and he will never be All Might. But
he had to ask All Might, "What is the symbol of peace?" Like,
yeah, he's freaking number one by default. Like.
And so
he didn't earn that.
That's the absurd consequence of that fight is that it's, on TV just like the Camino Ward fight was, like with All Might's final fight. Like it's on TV, it's being broadcast, it's this outrageous, destructive fight, it's the new number one hero. If you lose number one and then the new number one, like in the matter of like a month, like just a quick ass turnaround, like that, like Hero Society is already like coming apart at the seams. You lose Endeavor now too, and then like the next best guy doesn't even look that strong, and like it would be crippling. And I like imagine the pressure and the intensity of watching your dad fight to the death on television, like while you're sitting in a dorm room.
He gives the fucking Arthur fist meme like a couple times where they just showcase his fist and just like there's ball of flame.
And the ball of flame,
because he was pissed. He's like, okay, old man, I'm watching now, which I thought was a great
element
through and where he's doing not finally, but he's like come to terms with it and he's trying to support him.
There's a little Easter egg in that. There's a little Easter egg in that episode as well. With have you guys ever watched Fairy Tail?
A little bit.
You know Natsu?
Mm-hmm.
the salamander. So he's a fire magician, and he has like pinkish hair and a yellow scarf. And like the kid that wants Endeavor's autograph has like pink hair and a yellow scarf. He's designed to look like Natsu from Fairy Tail. And then he's like the guy on the TV screen that's like they think he's been beaten down, and he's like, look, Endeavor's still fighting. He's still burning. And then it gets into the Prominence Burn, which if you want to cover that, David, it's one of your favorite fights. I'll give that to you.
Bruh, I swear to God. Yeah, the animation budget that was lacking in certain parts of the season, I swear it's because they were saving it for this fight. It's better animated than almost any other fight in the show, just on that aspect. It's just nutty, like the stuff they do with him, like slicing the building apart and like freaking the prominent
spider shit that he does.
Oh my God, bro, it's nuts.
All of Hawk's wings, all the fire, all the shading. The shading.
Yeah, the shading when he's literally like overheating and like before he does the Prominence Burn, where he literally just melts in front of your eyes. It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's all like it's immaculate. Yeah, it's all lines and like red. That's it. And he's just
right. And he does the Iron Man technique where he like takes the nuke and he just runs up there. And I thought he was gonna die right there. Like I thought he was going to exert so much energy that he was just going to like implode, and that would have been like the end of it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He gets his fucking eye shot out basically, right? Like that's when I thought he died at first, and then he almost like I thought he was gonna nuke himself.
I did too. I thought he was gonna go fucking end of Dark Knight, like with the like flying the nuke out over the bay and everything. So
right.
Yeah, I mean that's like at least a 10-year-old movie. I don't care if that's spoilers. But yeah, I thought he was gonna, sacrifice himself to save the city or whatever, and just like turn himself into a nuke. But he just does, the Prominence Burn. He's like got his fist in the thing's mouth. He just explodes.
Well, Batman did survive, so
yeah, and with which is the fight is also unexpectedly written so well because he's just fighting a Nomu, but it's like this new version that is like it's whatever, it's like genetically engineered to like find the strongest sucker and then challenge them and like whatever. So he the fact that he's like you're like some like power hungry freak, like you're the old me at the very end of it. He's like burn away and he just freaking like annihilates. Prominence Burn is honestly beautiful. I love the conclusion to that fight. If you're going to redeem a piece of garbage like Endeavor, it like that's how you do it basically. Like
it's the way to start.
It's the way to start it. Yeah, his start. Yeah, he just goes freaking nuts, and he's even like every part of my body like is freaking dying. I'm literally just jetting myself. Even like the Nomu was like, "Oh, you must have a healing factor too." He's like, "Nope, I'm freaking dying over
I'm
here."
literally killing myself to kill you.
Which when he goes up and does that and does his finishing move and then crashes down to the earth and then he's standing up. I'm like, how?
it's
like you're the last like 10 minutes you've been talking about how you're on the brink of death and now you're just like standing up fist in air. I was like, okay, like honestly, good on you, bro. Like you're the new number one. That's fine. Facts. So be it. But that
definitely
fight
gives him some dimensions, like he's having to. Most of his entire motivation was to be better than All Might, and now that he can't fulfill that because All Might is gone, he has to like have a new motivation. And at the end of the day, he's still a hero, so he has to do what he's got to do.
Actually, funny,
which is super strong for his character development.
Very true.
Funny enough, there's a whole arc in Fairy Tail where they talk about like this one guy who can't surpass his master because his master is gone. So that's weird. That's weird that they put that Easter egg in that episode when they like one of the earliest arcs in that show is kind of very similar.
It'd be a heavy burden to carry where you're literally not given the opportunity. Well, you had the opportunity, but now the opportunity is taken for you to surpass the thing that you have been chasing your entire life with. That's crazy.
And then
I could not imagine that.
Closing thoughts on that fight for me is you actually get the perspective of why Endeavor to begin with went after a quirk marriage, where you see the fact that like, oh, this is the overheating that he's talking about. Like it reminded me of Iron Man 1 even, where it's like he goes up in the air when in that final fight and he takes him up into he goes, how do you fix the icing problem? And he's like, what icing problem? And he dinks him and he crashes to earth. It's like, how do you fix the overheating problem? Oh, like arrange marriage with someone with an ice quirk, and then he has Todoroki, who's his perfect protege, his perfect quirk combination, because he can use both unlimited because he can switch back and forth. So you get to see that motivation of like exactly how intense that is and how much of a problem it solves for Todoroki to have both, and then that lays the groundwork for how outrageously OP Todoroki is going to end up being, and already is honestly, but can end up being with more training and everything.
Funnily enough, like he is incredibly overpowered, but they don't allow him to just straight up kill everything. Like all his fights have some struggle into it.
Yep.
Like he doesn't like straight up just win by a mile, which I super enjoy.
Yeah, he's still training. He's still a student and everything.
Right.
Imagine he just goes into like all the villains are there. He just steps on the ground and just ices the whole room. Like
that's exactly what happened in season 1. I was thinking that too. I'm just like, the first time you see his quirk, he like freezes the entire building and then he just wins the exercise. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
And then at the USJ, when they send everyone after him, he just freezes them in their tracks as well. Like there's literally no fight there. He just insta freezes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool.
And my last thought on the Endeavor fight is I like how he says, what does he say? Like, I've always hated the school motto, but it seems appropriate.
That's ultra, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, go be.
I agree with you.
That's awesome. That gets me giddy. That gets me cheesing. I like that a lot.
Fire.
Yeah.
I just love when people. Yeah, pun intended. I love when they do the plus ultra motto.
Yeah.
They just throw it in there for good measure.
Hype. Yeah.
So overall, season was okay. I wish this wasn't the season that I had to marathon, because like if I had to marathon season 3, it would have been like I would have been so mentally exhausted, but like so like amped up. This season kind of left me a little but I'm very much excited for season 5. Either way, the show is fantastic.
They do a little setup with the you saw the after credits where he's like he wakes up or has the dream where he sees all the previous holders of One for All,
and you're the 9th.
Yeah,
and like the window breaks or whatever, doesn't it?
He wakes up with his fists all like charged up, and that's like the end of the show. Which I'm glad I didn't like stop watching, because when the episode concluded or whatever, I got up and I went to the bathroom, and then I came back and the credits were still rolling, and then it had like it blacked out and it did like the MCU shit where it shows like an after credit scene. So I sat back down on my couch and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I actually meant to text you about that. It was like, make sure you watch the after credit. I don't know, it's very mysterious. They leave you to guess at it, and we won't have to guess much longer.
Well, I'll tell you what,
season 5 coming soon. I'm hype as fuck.
I'll tell you what, maybe not season 5, maybe not season 6, but I want them. They're gonna break out the homie Stain. He's gonna come out again. He's gonna become the leader.
I don't think he will.
Spread his propaganda, and then he's gonna have the League of Villains is gonna be like trash compared to the amount of villains behind Stain. He's gonna be a problem.
Stain 2, Son of Stain.
They didn't put this man in jail and never talk about him for no reason.
If Stain's so great, why isn't there a Stain 2?
Oh my god.
There is. It's a Lizard Man or whatever.
Yeah,
Spinner.
Ninja Turtle.
Yeah,
Ninja Turtle.
Spinner.
Yeah, they might. I'm down to. No, yeah, like capping off this season, I think it's I'll give it a 7.5 probably. Total. The Endeavor thing brings it up at least half a point. Like goddamn,
yeah, that's true.
But definitely some of the my least favorite season. I think going into the future, we will see like I hope they pick up the pace because it's been good obviously, but they have this season where it's like a detour and then another detour if you really look at it. And all right, even though it's enjoyable, like I think they will if they're like setting up Endeavor and Midoriya's stuff. Hopefully it'll start going a little faster.
Yeah, where do you want this show to go? Because once they get out of school, it's not going to be My Hero Academia anymore.
That's what I'm thinking of. Is like, will they end there? Will they do like a Naruto Shippuden where like?
Probably.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I
think I could see that.
I think they might. Yeah.
Maybe not for manga, but maybe they'll continue the show. I don't know.
They're gonna have a Midoriya.
Yeah, like Baruto, indeed.
Right. Is that wrapped up? Are we good?
Midoriya.
Are we headed out? Is that fine?
Everyone giving their. I mean, I gave my.
Oh yeah, we gotta give ratings.
I'm agreeing with David. I'll give it a 7.5.
What about you, Cameron?
I'll give it a solid 8. Good flat 8.
Okay.
Love the cuteness factor of Eri. She's a great addition to the cast.
Absolutely.
Must protect at all costs. Some dope fights. I love the Kirishima episodes, especially the Endeavor episode is obviously, like you said, the animation budget just went there. Jesus, today. My God. outrageous episode to just tack on to the end of the season, honestly. So
Yeah.
but I like
weird.
getting the slice of life. I like, letting them be kids, letting them, just kind of enjoy their lives and not be under threat of death at all times for 10 episodes at a time. So it's good to have. I like the mix. So yeah, solid 8.
Yeah, I love the slice of life elements that they do. Like school festivals, I could see like half a season of that and not get tired. I love that kind of stuff for the show. But I'm giving this season a 7. This is the lowest that I'll give this show for now, at least. Hopefully, season 5 is not as as this season was. Definitely enjoyed, but I didn't love it like the other ones. Didn't blow me away. But we are excited for season 5. We will be. We will actually be reviewing Jujutsu Kaisen, the next anime box in 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy. That's ending very soon.
I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a 3-part series on Attack on Titan, which is gonna be crazy as well.
That's gonna be monumental.
And then after that, we'll chill with some slice of life or something like that, because I'm gonna need a break after these epic shows that I've been watching. So.
Yeah, Attack on Titan isn't as handed with the cutesy slice of life moments.
No, it's not.
Jujutsu Kaisen does a little bit, I guess, but
are you serious about that,
spoiling.
man? Come on. Attack on Tyson, no slice. Tyson. Attack on Titan.
Attack on Tyson.
Attack on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Oh, but before we go, another little fun fact, part 2, that I noticed, that I had a synchronicity that I had to bring up, is that both Mirio and Midoriya are born on July 15th, which is also the birthday of the pod.
Well, that's cool. Well, another synchronicity, or whatever the fuck that word is. I'm not gonna waste time.
Yep.
You have All Might's birthday.
I do.
Yeah. If you look at the card, it's June 10th.
We lit.
You have his birthday. I saw that
That's
a
cool
few episodes ago. I was like,
it was meant to be.
Yes, dude. I forgot about that. What the heck? I'm hyped.
I thought that was
hype.
That's hype. Let's go, boys. That's great.
And then, of course, Bakugo was born on 420, so there's that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is he actually?
Yeah, deadass.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right. So I think that's wrapped up. About
what's his name?
Yes, no.
Takoya? What is this fucking name?
Tokiyami.
Yeah, he was born on the day before Halloween. 10:30.
10:30.
True. 10:30.
I like that. Yeah, they list all the birthdays and blood types. There's a whole suspicion culture with blood types and stuff like that, and especially matchmaking. In Japan, they read a lot into blood types, so that's why they list it. But yeah,
there you go. Well, for sure. Thanks for listening. Get freaking hyped, or listening and watching. Get hyped for Jujutsu Kaisen. I know I am. Coming in a couple weeks. Yeah,
I'm rubbing my hands together.
Thanks for listening to our My Hero Academia series, as it is so far. Done for now. Coming back in the future. And we will be back, and we'll say, we are here. So, yes, been real, everybody. See ya.
My Hero is definitely top 10. It's number 1 for me.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. I'm with you on top 10. Not favorite, but I'm with you on top 10.
I was about to say that would have been a big.
That's absolutely top
10. Well, yeah. Yep. I'm hyped for season 5. I'm hyped for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It has, as David said, it has been real because it ain't fake.
You know for a fact that it's not fake.
It is not fake at all, yeah.
And I'm going to say, I love you all.
Yep. This, I guess, is where I'll share the fact that my rewatch made me move My Hero up in my list from number 7 to number 5.
Wow.
So it's now top 5 anime.
Fuck yeah.
Getting closer to Alex.
Dang. Wow.
I can't see. Well, I would honestly be impressed and delighted if it ended up overtaking the spots above it, because that would mean season 5 is just that insane. So yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will definitely tell. I'm very excited for it. Like we said before, we'll be coming back at you once that's wrapped itself up. I don't know if they're doing a half season. Maybe we do a half season. We'll figure that out when it comes time. So anyway, with all that being said, if you're on YouTube, you can see our socials down below. But for audio listeners, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at UnboxingLifePod, and on Reddit at r/unboxing life podcast. So if you want to start a conversation with us, just come hit us up. We'll definitely respond. So with all that being said, I'll say sayonara, Tomodachi.
Also, give us a review on Apple Podcasts if you would be so kind as to do so. We never say it in front of the podcast. So if you made it this far, please, by all means, give us a review if you haven't already.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna watch season 5 live. I think I'm gonna pop my cherry on that and experience it for the first time like that. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and it starts next week. So we will be back with some My Hero content in several months. But until then, take care. Thank you so much for listening, and peace the fuck out, baby.